What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. You know, I got a lot of my car flipper buddies on here, guys getting started in the biz. And this one is a good one. And actually, what reminded me of it, so we got my buddy John who owns an ice cream shop. We were over there quality testing the product. One of the little ice cream girls that works for him come pulling up in this early 2000s jet black Nissan Maxima. When I saw that and I saw it come in, the car rolled forward a little bit. It was a manual. I had one of those, just like that. And I'm like, Matt, black Maxima. That's all you got to say. And literally, I sat down and he just said black Maxima. So now we're going on with this story. When I bought my first houses in one of those little cookie cutter neighborhoods where all the houses looked the same, they just had different color siding on them. I lived on this long street that I hated the name of. It was called Butterfly Way, and I hated it with a passion. I hated the name of that street. Well, anyway, we had a guy that lived right up the street who was some tech guy. I don't know. He built websites and things like that or whatever. He had this black Nissan Maxima. It's like a 2000, 2001. Car's 7 or 8 years old. It was just a nice car, but it was a manual. And that thing, I don't know, for some reason, manual four-door cars attract me. I love CTSVs. I just think there's just something about, hell, I owned a Lincoln Town Car with a stick one time. So I like cars with manual transmissions in them. Like that, especially. So he had this little Maxima, and he always kept it pretty clean. It was his daily. Well, he was at work, and someone backed into it, and they caught it right. I use this Yoo-hoo cam because it's made out of the same material. They hit the fender and caught the door, so it just bent it on the passenger side, and so it just pushed it in right there. Car rode and drove out fine. It wasn't structural, but it bent the door on the end and bent the end of the fender in. Zach wasn't a car guy like that. He had this Maxima, and next thing you know, I noticed he took the tag off of it, and it was sitting in front of his house one day when I was driving down the street. And I know Zach because we had neighborhood card games, and he'd come down. My house was like the hangout because I was a single guy, and it's kind of like the boys club down there. So he'd escape from his girlfriend. He'd come down the street and play cards with us. I said, Zach, what's the deal with a little Maxima? He didn't pull your tag off of it. He said, yeah, I'm donating it, for tax write-off. I got in that little wreck with it. And he said, I done found me something else, yada, yada, yada. And I said, tax write-off? I said, hell, I'll buy that car. I said, how much are they going to give you for a tax write-off for this thing? And I said, on top of it, it's not like real money anyway. You got to spend money to make that damn tax write-off work. Now it's not going to stroke you a check for it. He goes, well, I don't know. What do you think they'll get? And I said, I'd be shocked if they gave you $1,000 for it. Had no idea what they'd give. I was just throwing out numbers. He goes, well, what would you give for it? I said, let me walk up there and look at it. Literally 4 houses up the street. Keep in mind, they were very close together. Walked up there, walked around it, saw the damage. It's a little car run, drive out good. So it runs and drives out perfect. I said, how many miles it got on it? He says, about 150,000. I said, I'll give you 7 $100 bills for it right now. I can't take that. Good enough. Walking back down. Gonna play cards. So we get back to the card game. Going back and forth. He said, I'd take 900 for it. Playing back and forth, playing Texas Hold'em. Dealers going around. Finally, it gets down between me and him. I said, whoever wins this hand, 7 or 9. Hell with it, I'll take it. Dropped pocket aces and had 2 on the table. Brandon titled my damn car, dickhead. I got this $700 Nissan Maxima. And it was a great little car. Hell, I drove it around. First thing I did is call up my local aftermarket body parts store. I got me an aftermarket front fender for it. I literally took the front fender off of it. I took a pair of channel locks and straightened the door out and got it close. And then I took a hammer, because keep in mind I'm a body man. I took a hammer and I smacked the living shit out of it. So to get that crease down, I hit it with a grinder, hit it with a DA, a little bit of glazing putty. My favorite glazing putty, Evercoat metal glaze. Best shit ever made. I still love that stuff to this day. I put me a little skim coat of that on there. That door's ready to rock, son. She's ready to put in primer, put a little paint on. Stuck my new fender on it. And the only problem with aftermarket body parts is they look like your part and they're extremely inexpensive, cost effective, but they don't sometimes fit like factory parts. Actually, it's not even sometimes, it's an all the time. They don't fit like the factory part. But that's the reason they're cheap. You got to think about it. It's aftermarket body parts, not Nissan body parts. I mean, I think this fender was like $30 new. So now keep in mind, I've got a hammer swing, 2 ounces of metal putty, and a little bit of sanding, and a $30 fender. So far invested in this $700 Maxima. Stuck the fender on it, and it actually lined up pretty decent. But the only problem was the marker light. So on that Maxima, the marker light comes around. It didn't fit in good. Like it would stay and it'd pop out. Like the hole was a little too big for the little clip. So it just kept popping out. And like it'd stay there for a little while and you drive it, it'd be popping out. I said, hell, I'll figure something out. I'm not worried about it. I took the marker light out of it, took it over to my buddy. He popped the door, or actually blended the door, popped the front fender on it. I'll be damned, cleaned it up. The damn car turned out slick as glass. It looked great. You know, a little 6-speed, little Max will zip around, 3 liter in it. That thing would fly. I mean, for what it was actually a fun little car. Super clean inside, black leather guts. I think it was like an SE, like Sportish, something like that. But anyway, hell, I drove it. It was my runaround for a little while. And I finally listed it online for sale. And I mean, this is early online. And I can't even remember where I listed it or where it was at. I don't have no clue. So I had someone contact me about it. They lived in Orangeburg, South Carolina. And they said, we want the car, but can you meet us halfway? I can meet you halfway, so we're paying in cash. I love it. Hell, it's Saturday afternoon. I can meet you halfway. Well, halfway we figured out between us was a rest area. If you're ever going through Columbia, South Carolina, so I'm in Greenville, they're in Orangeburg, Columbia, there's a rest area. Well, there's one rest area in particular that's in the middle of the road. It's not where you exit off to the right, like every other rest area in the world. They have this one that's in the middle, and both lanes use it. It's actually ingenious if you think about it. You think you'd make every rest area like that, put them in the middle. You only had to build one then. But anyway, there again, that saves tax dollars, so I guess that doesn't work. I said, yeah, I can beat you there. So I jump in that little Maxima. I called my buddy up. I said, hey, jump in my Tahoe, follow me down to Columbia. I'm going to sell this Maxima. So I jump in that little Maxima, and I'm flying in that thing. I mean, I'm running 90 mile an hour down 385, just cruising 26. Boom, go right to this little rest area, whip her in. But before I got to the rest area, wide spot in the road right there, like a big tire change lane and all that stuff, I whipped that thing over right quick, and I was literally chewing bubble gum. I thought about that damn marker light popping out. I literally, and this is not my proudest moment, I took that gum and stuck it all in that little plug, and I smacked that thing in there, and I whipped her right into the rest area. And they were there waiting on me. And these guys, I don't know where the they were from, but it sure as hell wasn't Orangeburg originally. They were wearing like the long cloaks, and they had the thing on, like the tall hat looking cloth thing on. I don't know. They look like extras from Coming to America or something. Hell, I don't know. These guys, and they spoke pretty decent English, and they claimed they were college professors at the university in Orangeburg. Didn't even know they even had a college down there, but whatever. Guys walked around the car. He goes, I like it. Had the title, and it was actually registered to me. Hell, I put a tag on it. I was riding around with it. I liked it. Signed the back of the title, handed it to me, handed me a stack of cash. I jumped in my Tahoe, me and my buddy headed back to Greenville. Fast forward 8 months. I've already sold my house, moved. So much has changed. I get a certified letter in the mail from a tow company in Casey, South Carolina. It's this little towing company that I need to pick it up. So I got my little card. So I had to go, of course, to the post office and get the certified letter. And basically, the certified letter says, hey, blah, 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 Mr. Pitts, this is blah, blah, blah with blah, blah, blah towing company. We have a car that belongs to you. It's up for auction or whatever if you don't claim it and pay storage and towing on it. And I'm like, my car in Casey, South Carolina, what the hell's that? I call him up and guy says, yeah, I got a black Nissan Maxima that belongs to you. Damn, I hadn't seen that thing in 8 months, And I told somebody I sold that car. He goes, well, you're the last one on the title. It's registered to you. I said, how did you get this Maxima? He said, well, we've had it for about 6 months. And I'm just now getting around to calling about it and sending out the letters for it. We actually got in a drug bust. And I said, really? And I said, well, what's the bill on it? He said, I'm gonna cut you a hell of a deal. He said, bring me $500, come get it. And I said, what's she look like? He said, like an old Maxima. I said, the windows are up, the doors are locked. He said, I can't get in, I haven't tried to get in it. He said, I literally drug it on the back of a rollback and dropped it in a spot in my yard. And I said, listen, but has anybody ever gave you anything? He goes, ain't nobody ever gave me a damn thing. And I said, well, tell you what, I just gave you a Nissan Maxima, brother, you can have it. He said, could you be a champ and sign that waiver for me, mail it in? I said, bud, I will drop it in the mailbox now. So I gave him his Maxima, or I gave him his paperwork, and I guess he got his Maxima and he did whatever he wanted to do with it. But every time I see one of those little Maximas, I think about my African friends who were college professors but were involved in a drug bust with my little Maxima. Guys, we'll catch you next time at Rabbit's Used Cars. I started thinking about it, what this car's seen.
You go ahead and finish it up.
Huh?
Finish it up, because you close on it.
Oh, yeah. So